Hello and welcome to LabGab, a live stream variety show that showcases events, destinations, and different talents across Second Life. I'm your host, Strawberry Linden. Today on our show, we have our beloved CEO of Linden Lab, Ebbe Altberg, and the Senior Director of Marketing, Brett Linden. Welcome to the show, Ebbe and Brett.
Hello. Super nice to
Hello.
be here again.
Nice to have you guys here again. So, all of the questions today were submitted by the residents in Second Life and the Second Life community, and but before we actually get into the questions about Second Life, Abby, can you just give us a quick update about Sansar?
Oh, yeah. So, this lovely Sansar product that we worked on for many years, we decided to sell it. We felt it was in the best interest for both Sansar and for Linden Lab to have Sansar and Second Life sort of take different paths. They're at very different stages in their evolution, and require different types of investment and resourcing. And I think it'll be easier for the two uh, products to sort of go independently, increases the chances of success for both. And so that sale has been concluded, and the people that were working on it earlier this year, about some almost 30 people, have all been given job offers with the new entity that now owns Sansar. And I know a bunch of them are back to work. And I wish them all the luck in the world. Love the team and love the product, and can't wait for it to be successful. They will be very focused on large scale events, primarily in the entertainment and for starters in the music industry. Sansar developed some technology that allows it to scale to many thousands of concurrent people watching a show. Um, and they will continue to support VR and desktop use as far as I know. But now it's the strategy is completely up to them at this point. Uh, Great friends, and we're partners. They use Tilia for all the money services, just as Second Life does. So Tilia is will be adding more and more third parties over time, and we're super happy to have Sansar as a customer and a partner, and wish my great friends over there the best of luck.
Definitely great news to hear that they'll all be back in Sansar. So now on to the Second Life questions. The first question is actually a two-part question. The resident is asking how us three are feeling and how we're coping with the pandemic that is currently happening. Aside from my allergies acting up, I'm actually doing pretty well myself. How about you, Evie and Brett? How are you guys doing?
How are you doing, Brett?
I'm doing good. It's a stressful time for everybody. So we're human, just like everybody else. Yeah, I think for me personally, the biggest concern, which I know I'm hearing from a lot of friends, has to do with I have an elderly mother who is in a nursing home, and seeing some of the stories come out there, not where she's at, but in others, is really scary. And so, from a personal side, I really just worry for people. People need to really listen to what their local government is saying. If they should be staying in place in the region they're in, then they should do so for the sake of everybody. So that's for me the biggest personal stress. Um, Being at Second Life, it's great in the sense that we are helping people, I think, as a place to sort of escape to if they're having stress in their lives. And, I'm grateful that we have SL. How about you?
I'm doing all right. I have older parents. They're in Sweden, and so trying to make sure that they behave and stay locked up there. I mean, even if your local government doesn't tell you to lock yourself up, kind of do it anyway. It's usually what you see is that cities and countries are too late at imposing sort of quarantine, and by the time it's spread sufficiently, it seems like they wait till it's spread too far before they sort of close things down. So my recommendation is be very careful to mingle with people, or don't mingle with people in public at all until things get better. Um, I'm doing okay. I'm lucky. I live in a place where I can look at all my windows and not see any neighbors. Um, and We're very lucky at Linden Lab because we are exceptionally well functional, working remotely. It's something that we've developed as a skill pretty much almost from the beginning of the lab. So it was not really a big deal for us to go 100% remote.
Yeah.
Um, I, um, I should not catch this bug for reasons that I'm not going to get into, but and the same with my wife. But we're lucky we have two older sons that can go do the shopping and stuff for us. A lot of hand washing, and definitely concerned about how long this will take. I think it will take longer than people realize. Over time, the majority of us will be infected by this bug. And so I think the key for me personally and for my family is wait for as long as possible to get the infection if you're ever going to get it, so that the best care available has been developed. Better medicines, better processes, better tools, and also availability at the hospital. So you don't want to get sick when everybody else is getting sick and the hospitals are overloaded. So we're being very careful. We took steps to make sure that everybody at the lab can work remotely. And like I said, we don't expect any interruptions because of it. I love going into the office and chatting with people in the hallways and going out to lunch with my friends and colleagues. But we'll just hang out together here in Second Life, and that's also why we're so lucky. Not only can we work remotely super well, but we're also working on a product that enables people to have social connections and interesting lives um, in a virtual space where it's these days much safer than doing it out in physical space. So we're doing well. We're doing well.
Yeah, I heard you actually say something very apt. Yesterday you said stay safe, stay virtual. And I was like, that's a good message for these days, especially. So for the second part of the question, the resident is wondering if there has been an increase in both new and current active users for both business and personal.
Absolutely. We're seeing quite interesting resurgence of returning users as well as new users coming in to explore Second Life. We see registrations up over 60%. Concurrency is up north of 10%. And we're just kind of a week or so into people being locked up. We can actually see countries and states that impose strict uh, stay home policies. We see kind of a corresponding jump in people in those markets jumping into Second Life. So everybody be kind to all these returning users and new users, because they're coming in looking for ways to get their social fix, and also deal with the anxiety that we all have these difficult times. So this is a time to be thoughtful and helpful and kind, and we're all planet Earth is all in this thing together. So let's all do what we can to help us get through this best way possible.
For sure. So, what new developments will be addressed to deal with the expected increase of old users coming back due to coronavirus, as well as this slight increase of new users testing SL for the first time as an alternate to staying at home watching TV and so forth?
Brett can talk about some developments, but baseline, it's not like we suddenly go, oh, they're new users, let's do things. We always have new users, and we're always working to improve conversion rates, retention rates, and all kinds of things. And another base thing is we don't have this year a ton of resources available for new initiatives because we are working on a gigantic effort, which is to transfer all of Second Life from our old co-location facility where we have something running on our proprietary built cloud service that we built to a more modern public cloud service like AWS and Google Cloud Services. And that will take the majority of our resources for this year to complete. And we're expecting a lot of improvements for that. So that's a huge investment that should give you, uh, a strong belief that we're in this for the long term, because otherwise we wouldn't make that massive investment. But we're still doing things to make the onboarding experience for new users more interesting, and Brett can touch on those.
Yeah, so there's a lot. I guess I'll just summarize some highlights. But just today, we announced a couple of initiatives in the marketing and the social media side of things. If you go to our blog and on the socials, I've just shared the links as well. We've made the announcement about the implementation of the Second Life Book Club, which will now be a monthly event that we've partnered with Drax. As many of you know who Drax is, who we've partnered with. And so he's going to be bringing together some established authors into Second Life in a time when it's kind of difficult. I mean, there's so much disruption right now to the way that we think of things, but you just think about that particular sector where the book industry, people can't do the in-store book readings and Q&As with the authors and so forth as easily as they once have, because the physical world doesn't allow that right now. So we will be working with him and the book industry to sort of have an opportunity for people to come in world, authors, and share, do readings of their books, talk about the industry, and so forth. So that's kind of exciting. That's going to start. The first one, I believe, I've just lost the date, is in early April the 8th.
April 8th.
And yeah, and so he's lined up actually to kick it off. There's going to be a panel of authors just sort of talking about how they're adjusting in terms of their own experiences, but also as authors trying to get word out of their books, since they can't do the independent book tour as easily right now. So you can see the names of those authors and other news in the post. The other thing that we've implemented or are starting announcing today is Showcase Streams. And Showcase Streams is this is a little bit the beginnings of it. When we see with LabGab, we've had such a good response to our live streaming efforts, which 6 months ago we were not doing anything along these lines. And so we see that there's high engagement and discovery of Second Life or rediscovery because of LabGab. And so we're looking at more opportunities to get people to discover or rediscover Second Life. So Showcase Streams will basically be spontaneous, sort of unscheduled drop-ins on cool events, music events, art exhibits, and we'll sort of, in a sort of spontaneous way, be dropping in and sharing with the social audiences a quick walkthrough or fly-throughs of that. It may vary in time and duration, and again, these are going to be spontaneous. But as these things come up, we'll do that, and we think that will help people not only come back in when there's things to do that they discover, but also share with their friends, because that's easy to do, obviously, in those channels. So those are just the tip of the icebergs, 2 things we've announced today, but obviously we continue to try to let the world know about Second Life as a wonderful place to supplement or augment their physical lives, especially when you're in social isolation and looking for friendly conversations or communities that share your passions. And so it's been very fascinating to see the last couple of weeks, as Ebbe referenced, the spike in registrations, and also people that we have seen in the past coming back who maybe were gone for a while and rediscovering Second Life. So we're looking for more opportunities to get on the radar for people. Lots of media attention this week. So yeah, more to come.
Yeah, and just a reminder too, if you haven't already, to subscribe to our YouTube channel, because that's where you'll see the book club and all the showcase streams pop up. more so. So the next question we have is there anything we as residents can do to ensure that there is not extra strain on the resources provided by Linden Lab?
I was thinking about that, and then the things I could think of is be kind, don't squabble, don't fight with each other. The fewer sort of reports we get on people having disputes and messing around with each other, the better. And the more you can help users so that they don't have to contact us for help, that helps, especially Patch's team and the support team um, when we have this new growth and so yeah, just be kind and helpful. That's all I could think of. I don't know if anyone else had any other ideas.
It's good advice. Brett, do you want to add to that at all?
Well, definitely the be kind part. I mean, I know that's common sense, but sometimes I always think about, this is probably a terrible analogy, but I think about if you get behind the wheel of a car, and sometimes when you're behind the wheel of that car, you might not be as nice to somebody if they're, because you don't feel like they see you. And
Yeah,
sometimes you see a little bit of that in Second Life and or other platforms where there's an avatar. Really treat people kindly. Think about your own experience right now and what each of us are going through, and give people a little bit of leeway, now more than ever. And also there's a lot of new people coming in, and we would love for their first impression to be a welcoming one.
for sure.
So
And
yeah.
especially be kind about people's avatars. Everybody, it's
Yes.
Second Life. You can be whatever you want to be, and it's good to see diversity. So just wanted to put that out there too.
Yeah, and being a noob is not a bad thing. It's a good thing.
Exactly,
Hug them, bring them in, show them around, and if you think they could dress better, fine, you can let them know. But there's no need to be, mean you know,
for sure.
or
Okay,
something.
so the next question is I have a lot of requests for. I am a region owner and experiencing financial difficulties due to coronavirus. What are my options?
I think call the support team, explain your situation, and then they'll they'll uh, they'll work with you to try and find ways. We would hate for people to lose their regions because of these, if they've lost their job and don't have an income and can't support the paying us for regions. And so, we obviously can't do some sort of carte blanche kind of, everybody gets free regions right now. We would not be able to afford to run this operation. But if there are special circumstances and you can explain them to support, and we'll try and work with you. I can't promise we can do everything for everybody, but we will try and be reasonable in to help you with your situation.
And I'll add to that if you don't mind. So just specifically, a really good starting point is the support portal. So it's support.secondlife.com. And that's the starting point. Depending whether you're premium or not, you might get different instructions once you log in, but you'll want to start there regardless. And I spoke to Patch about this just, this week. I think we've all talked through this issue internally. And what he has said that I just want to relay is that his perspective is that we're just taking a human, passionate approach to everyone's unique situation and needs, recognizing that there's not like a one size fits all solution. So everyone's situation is different, but start by going to support.secondlife.com.
Great to know. Great to know. So we have long known that Second Life is a spectacular platform for collaborative presence, far more personal and engaging than Skype or the like. What is being done in terms of promoting that platform we all know and love for keeping work teams, friends, families, social groups together, and at the same time growing our user base?
Yeah, so Brett can tell you more about how we're helping people understand what we can offer there. But there's been a Patch's team don't just do support; they also do sales and land operations and a lot of things. And they have been inundated by educators and professionals to figure out if Second Life can be a solution for them. And so we've had to reassign some resources to help, manage all that those incoming requests. And it takes a while because we all know that what Second Life is can do and how exceptionally great of a platform it is for people to do collaborative meetings and training and education and all kinds of things. But it does take a little bit more effort for someone to come to grips with it, understand it, figure out how it can solve their problem, and then to ultimately figure out how to use it and get everything set up. But Brett and the team have done some things to help streamline that process. He can talk about.
Yeah, I mean, so as we mentioned at the top, it's been interesting to see our numbers, again, while everything's going on in this world, that people are rediscovering and or in some cases discovering ourselves for the first time. We definitely have seen that. And um, we have a lot that we still want to do that we haven't yet put in place, but what's happening right now is trying to, make sure that we do the best we can with the initiatives that we have to welcome these folks. Strawberry, you only recently helped us redo the new user video tutorial series. And thank you for that. And I'm glad that that's now in place because those needed a little bit of polish and updating. And those have been localized in about 8 or 9 languages. So there's actually narrations in each respective supported language. And those are resources that are available for new users who are just trying to get acclimated to SL quickly. Additionally, I mentioned the amount of sort of the spotlight that's on us right now. There's been a lot of media attention, and we're trying to just be available to sort of get the word out, and that happens a lot of different ways. I think it was within the last couple of weeks we had Darcy on LabGab, who's works with me and U Strawberry in marketing. He's been creating some campaigns that sort of address, where we think the temperature's at right now as far as people looking for more comfort experiences and socialization. We said earlier we're going to be very careful and sort of towing the line to do this the right way. And I think that I'm pretty proud of what we've done so far as the way that we've messaged Second Life to adapt to the reality of where we're at right now. So there's some of the soft messaging that just speaks to the sort of social components that are new campaigns that have been put out that actually are getting extremely high response rates as far as click-throughs go. On the enterprise business side, we've been getting, I don't know how to characterize it other than just say we've been getting hammered by inquiries right and left from everything from organizations or conferences or educators. Again, some of which had awareness of SL and many of which have never heard of SL. And so we whipped together this microsite and also the turnkey options. If you're not familiar with that, you can go to connect.secondlife.com. And actually on that site, you'll see under the Explore section, video fly-throughs of these sort of ready to go regions and buildings for people that just need to get up and running very, very quickly. And maybe frankly don't have the time or skill set to start from scratch. And so that's a new initiative for us. And we're supporting that in marketing as well. So I don't know if I answered all the questions, but I mean, there's just so many things going on. And I don't even know where to start, honestly, to answer that.
I heard people were asking about doing proms and graduation ceremonies, and that's pretty exciting. I
Yeah,
love to
we
see
we
that.
see those as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So, can you tell us more about the universities and colleges in Second Life? Do they receive free or discounted parcels? Are there any existing universities still in Second Life?
Oh yeah, Brett, roll.
Yeah, there absolutely are. I mean, education in Second Life, I mean, many universities have been around for a decade plus. And they've been here a long, long time. On the destination guide, we've got just the tip of the iceberg of those. I want to remind people that some of these are not easily accessible in the sense that they're set to private, so they don't really necessarily want them advertised. But there's a lot of them using them for everything from synchronous or real-time teaching, where they jump in and have sort of the spatial classroom meetings, and others have sort of simulated scripted experiences. We've talked, I think, in the past about CNDG, which is just a great partner that does, I think they work with Pearson, one of the major ed tech or education companies. And they've got a very ambitious, long-lasting run in SL. But we still see, it's just some of the very well-known entities like Stanford and USF and so forth still active in SL. And some of those you can see on the destination guide when they're open. But like I said, many of them are kind of walled off because they're set to just their students. So yeah, they're
Yeah,
still very active.
there's some good videos out there too. Drax has done some great videos with CNDG as well. CNDG has substantial penetration in the Florida university system. So there's, I don't know, last I heard was close to about 10,000 students enrolled in various classes in Second Life, and a lot of experiential type of modules, learning modules, where they can teach things that you can't really do with just text and voice and videos, and you have to kind of do things to learn. And so, modules where students go scuba diving or fly to the North Pole to take ice samples, or learn how financial systems and markets work through simulations. And so there's one thing to just simulate a sort of something that looks like a classroom and just present, but then the ability to sort of script things to have a more interactive um, learning is a very sort of very useful and meaningful way that Second Life can be used. And that also then covers not just but training. A lot of nurses that are all being very stressed these days. A lot of nurses have been trained in Second Life how to triage patients. New patients come in. Here are the symptoms. What equipment do you use? What buttons do you push? How do you handle these situations? And being able to simulate those types of use cases is something that Second Life is really, really appropriate for. So we're really excited about the education potential of Second Life and the usage that we see, and the things we over time have to do is to just continually try and make it easier and easier for those schools and teachers and students to come in and take advantage of what Second Life has to offer.
That's really
Oh, Coach,
interesting. So go ahead, Brett.
I was say, should we give a shout out too, because it's happening right now, the Virtual World's Best Practice in Education
Yes,
Conference. They've
Oh
been
yeah,
in SL
big
for
conference
years.
going on right now. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, so that's a good one. It's in the destination guide if anyone wants to check it out. But lots of activity this week on this very topic.
for sure. And it's really interesting to hear about the nurses. I didn't know that. I know my local university does science labs in SL. So a lot of,
I've,
yeah.
over the last few years, I've had to go to the hospital more than I had hoped or wished for, but I've met 3 nurses that
Wow.
all took courses in Second Life.
Amazing. I didn't know
Yeah,
that. Okay,
yeah.
so the next question. Linden Lab headquarters is in San Francisco, a city that has shelter-in-place orders and essential workplaces only are to stay open. How are you able to cope with that requirement? Do you have essential status? Also, will the colo stay open and do you have access to it?
Sorry, hold on here. So was this, sorry, like I was thinking about something and I missed the beginning of your question. Oh, I see. Question 9 in our sheet here.
Right.
Um, Yeah, so like I said earlier, our offices are basically closed. Only for emergency needs do we have people go to those offices, to, you know, pick, pick up a package or something. We're all working from home. Uh, we work very well working from home. Um, yeah, the co-location facility, if needed, to have access to it, but we don't personally access our colo much at all. We have outsourced vendors that come in and do things if we need to have, hard disk failures or memory failures or whatever that hardware needs to be upgraded. So that's kind of an outsourced activity. I haven't heard of any issues with that. So I don't have any reasons to expect there to be any interruptions in our service as we go through this horrible, you know, virus scare.
That's good to hear. So now on to some other topics. Now that we've covered the coronavirus, people are asking when are name changes for Second Life going to be available?
I know that that one is very, very close.
Yeah.
Uh, we can sometimes be very, very close for quite a while. That can be frustrating because as you try and test these things in the real with all kinds of various use cases. But I know that name changes, they had what we call internally a pylon test, which means a bunch of our employees uh, or our staff will jump in and sort of use the features in our test environments and our staging environments, and sort of try and find that one last bug. And then sometimes you find a bug that takes a while to figure out why is that happening and how do we fix it. And so it's really hard sometimes to predict exact launch dates of certain features. But I know it's that one is on like the absolute home stretch to be very, very close. So I would say very few weeks is
Yeah.
kind of the outer bound for that feature.
Yeah, I heard it's almost there, so hopefully soon.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, very close.
So when will the mobile client be released on iOS?
So lots of activity there. We have a person who's worked on a mobile, what do we call a companion client? Because I want to make it clear that people understand that the mobile client will be primarily a communication client where you can chat with people and stay connected, but it's not a 3D viewer. So you will not be, running around with your avatar in the mobile clients for quite some time. But you can at least, when you're on the road, stay connected with your friends and customers and etc. The iOS client is very close to what we call an alpha. I don't know exactly how the alpha will then progress to a beta to like a full release that people can try. Um, so uh, I don't know. Did I have to pay attention to what you just said there, Brett?
No,
No, it was for me.
No. Okay. Okay. Good.
proceed.
Okay.
You're
Sorry.
fine. Keep
Sorry.
going.
Yeah. Okay. So I know that the iOS client is very close to what we call an alpha. I'm not sure if alpha actually is even just for internal people. We probably want to get the whole company using it first, but we might at some pre-production grid, get some external users involved in the alpha as well. I don't know the exact details, but it's being worked on, and hopefully, most of us will be able to use the iOS client to stay connected with Second Life I don't know, month or two, I'm guessing.
Yeah.
And we also have added more resources, so we now have people working on an Android version as well. So hopefully that will catch up and sort of get neck and neck or almost parallel with iOS here by the time we get to full release. So actively being worked on.
Okay. So there was a question that came in from YouTube, from the YouTube channel. Will we ever turn back on voice in the hubs? It's been off for a while. I'm not sure that's a question that we have an answer for, Brett. Do you know, Brett?
Are we talking like, welcome
I
islands and
believe so. Yes.
learning islands? Yeah, well, we do when you see one of those welcome islands or social islands that we use to onboard new users,
Hmm.
you can never really be sure what you're looking at because we do a huge amount of experimentation and A/B testing, and there's lots of flavors of them. We try them with voice, without voice, with mentors, without mentors, with this UI, with this environment, and constantly try and find which variant has the best conversion of users. And it's kind of mind-boggling how absolutely certain you can be that a change will make things better,
Hmm.
and it isn't when you test it, and you just can't believe it. And so this is an area where you have to be very data driven. It's not always obvious what will make things better. We've seen mentors being better for certain types of audiences, but worse for other types of audiences. it's maddeningly difficult to figure out. So the team constantly are evolving and trying different things. Um, Voice can be a problem, especially if uh, people with bad intentions get into those, and new users, the first thing they hear is someone spouting bad stuff. That's a horrible new user experience. So it's uh, it's a something that's being tested so much that, again, what you see is not necessarily what everybody sees.
I was wondering if there was any update on the new premium membership. Any more information about that, the upgraded premium one? That was a question that
I
came
don't
in
know.
from YouTube.
Yeah, I don't know that we have any new information. Um,
Okay.
it's being worked on. It's kind of stockpiled behind a few other initiatives. So I'm not sure how soon we'll roll it out, but I know that updates to the viewer to kind of be prepared for it have been rolled out. Um, so that could be a month or two or three, depending on how we sort of choose to prioritize stuff in the queue we are working on.
Okay. So what are the plans for future improvements and updates and or upgrades to Second Life for 22 and beyond? For 2020, sorry.
Well, for 2020, I mean, again, back to what I said earlier, the massive undertaking is to move to AWS and Google Cloud Services for everything we do. And that's a huge undertaking. Everything needs to move, and it's progressing well. I mean, you don't even know. A lot of things that's happening in Second Life today is actually happening in AWS, and we're shifting, you know, uh, various services in our system sort of one by one, and so we're basically migrating piecemeal. And some of the big things to get up there is, for obviously the simulator is a huge undertaking to move over there, and I'm looking forward to seeing what performance improvements we can get instantly once some of these services move over. We see pretty significant improvements um, because we have decided, obviously, for a while now to not upgrade the hardware in a colo because that's a big capital expense that we want to avoid. So, as part of this move. So as we move, we're able to put Sansar on more modern and higher performance servers, and several services moved over we've noticed have very much benefited from that. But some key parts of the system have yet to be migrated. So that's the big undertaking. So there will not be a very huge sort of feature type of year because of that focus. But we've already spoken to some of them. Mobile will come, um, and name changes will come, and some improvements to premium will come, and some other goodies here and there where we can find resources because we don't want to, have resources compete with the huge project. We call it the uplift, basically moving all of Second Life from our colo to AWS and Google Cloud Services, and that has to be the number one thing. We can't drag that out. The longer that drags out, we're basically straddling the fence between two locations that we operate from, and we want to get that taken care of as fast as possible. And so that's priority number one, two, and three, pretty much. And then we'll see what we can sort of stuff in around that as we go along.
And I just also want to add, actually, next week on LabGab, I'm going to have the development team on talking more about Uplift, so Oz and his team. So you guys watch out for that next Friday, April 3rd at 10 a.m. So for the final question, is just kind of fun and personal. Do you have any pets in the physical world? And if so, what is your pet's name?
We certainly do. Um, our zoo here at the Altberg home is two dog two dogs, girls, Kato and Jasmine. They're uh, they're mixes. Choose. Ah, spacing. I'm spacing. They're the dogs that people are afraid of.
Pit bulls?
Yeah, they're pit mixes.
Okay,
Sorry, geez,
okay.
the pit just disappeared from my brain. They're pit mixes, and they're super sweet, cuddly, and
Oh,
Kato is the smaller, gentle, soft one, and Jasmine is sort of the bigger, little clumsier one, and they're super sweet. We're lucky to have a big yard they can run around in, and we take them for walks most days because we have nice trails right out of my backyard that we can safely go on without bumping into other people. And we also have a cat named Ollie, little boy cat, and he is a Maine Coon, and he's big. He can basically stand on his hind legs and basically just look at what's on the dinner table. Um, and he's a lot of fun.
I love Maine Coons so much.
Yeah, he's so fun. He's into everything. Whatever you do, his face just gets right into everything. And then my son, who lives downstairs from us, he has a cat as well. Our two cats don't get along, so they are in separate rooms. Ollie is upstairs, and Naga, the cat that he has, is downstairs. And I forget what kind of cat that is, but it's a very fluffy, some sort of Russian blue something, very special, expensive cat that he got there. And then my other son, Alex, who lives just a block away, um, and he has a dog named Kermit. He's also a pit mix. He's 12 years old, and our girls are 8 years old. And Kermit is one of the best dogs I've ever seen in my life, and he's with us quite often. He's here now, so we have three dogs and two cats in the house
You
as we
really do
speak.
have a zoo.
Yeah.
How about you, Brett?
Well, I don't have nearly as many. I got one. I've got a very friendly, fun dog named Maxie, who is a mixed terrier and actually comes from a shelter in Greece, interestingly enough, the Trichala shelter.
Oh,
And it's a long story there, but basically, short version is that fell in love with this dog and ended up deciding to bring it back to the U.S. It was a rescue dog, and went through the whole process of that, which was interesting. And she's just been an absolute sweetheart. So
oh, that's
yeah,
so
so
sweet.
Maxie.
Yeah. And, by the way, all of our dogs, all of our pit mixes and cats, they're all rescues. So
Oh, that's so wonderful. That's great. So now that we're done with the questions, I wanted to keep it short because we actually have a surprise. I know there's a concert coming up on Sunday, and we wanted to head on over and listen to an original song by the musician. His name is Mankind Tracer in Second Life. So we're gonna head on over. Brett, and you want to talk a little bit about that while we teleport over, and maybe
Yeah,
introduce Mankind. He can talk to us once he's in there. I'm gonna
sure.
stand.
Yep, I will do the same, and I'll just kind of give a set. But earlier we talked about the sort of showcase streams situation, and so in some ways this is kind of that. We're going to spontaneously introduce people who maybe aren't as familiar to the idea of live performances in Second Life. We talk, people maybe have heard about it but not seen it, and so we're going to just get a little bit of a sampler here. So I guess we'll head on over and meet Mankind. 1 second, while I teleport
I'm
over.
gonna teleport Ebbe over too. To Ebbe, I
Okay.
hope you're standing, and you guys maybe turn off your voice in world.
Okay.
Okay, Ebbe, I sent you a TP.
going.
And so
There
we're
you
heading
go.
over to the venue. This is the venue where I think they're getting it set up for this weekend's show.
Hmm.
And let's go in and say hi.
Is Mankind with us now? Let me see.
Let's see if we can have him join us.
Yes. Let's see. I don't see him in world. Let me see. But
Okay.
so the concert
Oh,
is on Sunday. I don't remember the time. Is it 2 p.m. on Sunday? Do you remember?
I think so. Let me get the time on this. Bear with us here while we kind of get everything set up. Yeah, the show is on this Sunday at 2 p.m. Second Life time. And actually, Seth has, or Mankind as it goes by in Second Life, Seth Regan in the real life, he has been active in SL for a very, very long time and is just coming back in to do this sort of comeback performance in SL. And let's see if we can get him on voice.
I don't have him on voice. Is he on the region as well? I don't really see him on the region.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I'm here.
Oh, here you are. Yay.
Yay!
Hey,
Seth.
welcome.
Thank you. Good morning, I should say. Good afternoon, good evening to you guys, wherever you are in the world.
Same to you.
Thank
Hey,
you.
Seth, why don't you
Yeah.
tell us a little bit about your show this weekend and what brought you back into SL for this event?
Well, I've predominantly I've missed everybody. That's kind of how it started. I missed playing. I missed the Second Life community. We started talking a month and a half, 2 months ago before this insanity started, and decided that it started off as a benefit to help my mom and to raise money for American Heart Association, because my mother suffers from heart disease for a long time. Then the coronavirus came on, and I thought, this is just more pressing need right now. So we decided to, with your guys' help, of course, to make this more of a benefit to help those people who are on the front lines, meaning the World Health Organization, the WHO. So I think it's a very good time. Now also there's, as we see, as you guys have already mentioned on the show, there's an incredible influx of people coming back to SL, a lot of new members, as Ebbe said before, joining on. I think it's just a wonderful thing. I think it's a great time to do it. People are home. Let me go out and reach my people and hang out with my friends again and have a great time. I think it's going to be great.
Should be a lot of fun. I don't see you in World. Are you on the region now? I want to
Yeah, let me
make
get
sure.
over there.
Yeah.
Sure, let me get over there.
Make sure I have you on camera, and
Okay,
then
give me 1 second.
whenever you're
There
ready.
he is. I see
There
him.
we
I
go.
see him.
Yay!
Hey, welcome. Oh, look, you guys have your tag on. How nice. Thank you. You're a friend of mankind. That's so
All
sweet.
right, I have to put my tag on. I
Wait a
forgot.
minute. Ebby's not a friend of mankind. How dare you? How dare you, sir?
There we go.
That's
I gotta
great.
put
That's
my
great.
tag on.
You guys are on the VIP list. Okay.
Okay, good to know.
So what song are you going to play for us here?
I'm going to play an original tune. It's called "Do It Again" because I think that kind of sums up what we're all kind of in right now. I think it's a song from probably 2014, maybe 11, 14. I don't even know when I released it, but it seems to be quite pertinent right now as we are in this process of our daily routines over and over and lockdown, and you know how it is. So yeah, it's called "Do It Again." So let me start my stream up. Are you ready for that? Do you have what you need?
Yes, I'm going
Yeah.
to.
All right.
I played the stream and make sure my music's all the way up.
All right. You should be hearing my voice on stream. And I'm going to put you on. Let's see if I put this on speaker. Here. Can you hear me still?
All right. Yeah.
Yep.
Great. All right. I'm going to cover your ears 1 second.
You should be hearing my voice on stream.
Ooh, I can hear it.
All right.
And
You got it?
let me put you on. Let's see if I put this on speaker. Here we go. Can you hear me still?
Just let me know when the stream is good, and I will
Okay, great.
kick
All
in
right,
the
I'm going to
studio
cover
tracks,
your
and I'll
ears
be
1
playing
second. I'm
singing.
putting my guitar in. Hope that didn't hurt.
I can hear it.
All right, you got it. Just let me know when the stream is good, and I will kick in the
Stream
studio
sounds
tracks,
great.
and I'll be
I've
playing and singing live over the actual original studio tracks here.
muted the Discord because I was
You
hearing
ready?
you twice. So stream is great. Go ahead. Stream sounds great.
Okay. Just let me know when to go.
I've muted the Discord because I was hearing you twice.
Oh,
so
okay,
stream is
okay.
great.
I will start. Thank you so much. Thanks. I'm going to mute it as well. All right, everybody on stream, thank you for listening in. Let me get this queued up. And a 1 and a 2. It's been a long time coming. Nobody know, nobody say. But you can see the indications on your own, the implications are a sad sight. Despite all the conflict, this world ain't gonna end today. But you're feeling like a creeper, and the holes get deeper. Put your baggies and your t-shirt on holiday. This ain't a dream, cause your ship's already sailing to sea. The unexpected ending of a tragic comedy. I'm only saying that what you do will bring you farther away from any satisfaction. Yeah, yeah, you get up, fall down. Get up, fall down. You get up, you fall down. You do it again. Well, you just sit there waiting. Nobody cares, nobody calls. But you've been saying this and that, one saying that you've been doing and saying nothing at all. I told you the last time that you and I spoke on the phone. Well, take it from me that there's more to life than hitching a ride on somebody else's dime or sipping a cold brew on a straight line. This ain't a dream, cause your ship's already sailing to sea. The unexpected ending of a tragic comedy. I'm only saying that what you do will bring you farther away from any satisfaction. Yeah, yeah. Get up, you fall down. You get up, fall down. You get up, fall down. You do it again. Alright, you guys gonna help me now, right? Come on, say. Ooh la la, ooh la la, ooh la la, ooh. Ooh la la, ooh la la, ooh la la, ooh. Come on, Ebbe. Ooh la la, ooh la la, ooh. This ain't a dream, cause your ship's already sailing to sea. The unexpected ending of a tragic comedy. I'm only saying that what you're doing will bring you farther away from any satisfaction. Yeah. Every time you see a mirror and you look at yourself, you better believe it's not a universe parallel. I've been around the block a time or two, so trust me when I tell you that there's no accident, just conscious revelations. Get up, fall down. Get up, fall down. You get up, fall down. You do it again. Get up, fall down. Get up, fall down. You get up, fall down. Do it again. All right, your turn. You guys say it. Come on. Get up, fall down. Get up, fall down. You get up, fall down. Do it again. Nice. Get up, fall down.
Woohoo!
Get
All
up,
right.
fall down, down, down. Get up, fall down.
That was wonderful. Thank you so much.
Appreciate that.
All right.
Okay, that was
And
awesome.
I realized I forgot to kickstart my animation. And say,
Thank you,
Great.
mankind.
I'm just gonna mute the sound and world and put up
Thank
his.
you. Yeah, 2 p.m. Sunday for the show, which is awesome. And you can also see the entry in our destination guide as well, which you can see. And just a reminder to everybody as well that for events that you may be having or art exhibits, make sure you're in the destination guide so
Yeah.
that we can promote that to the community. And also, you may find yourself on one of these showcase streams. So make sure you're in the destination guide.
I'd like to just add one more thing. I'm so happy to see that Second Life is getting behind bringing good quality Second Life music events to the world. There's such a great opportunity, not just because of coronavirus, but just in general. It's such a great opportunity. I've reached so many more people in Second Life than I did with probably 20 years of touring, honestly. So if you know a
That's
musician,
awesome.
get them in here. Get them in here. It's really, really, really cool. That's four
Excellent.
realies.
Thank
Well, thank you so much,
My pleasure.
Mankind,
Thanks for
Seth,
having me.
and thank you so much, Brett and Ebby, for answering all my questions today. It was great. We went through a lot of questions from the community, and we really appreciate everybody's time. Thanks to our viewers for watching. Keep an eye on the Second Life community blogs, of course, and our YouTube channel. Subscribe to that for future announcements about LabGab. And that's it. Thanks, everyone. Stay safe, stay inside, and as Rebby said, stay virtual. Take care, everyone.
All right.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Cheers. Bye
you.
bye.
Bye.